Today, we're going to dive into a topic that is absolutely changing the game in the hospitality industry: AI in hotel procurement.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to all of you from Europe Hotel School. My name is, well, you can just think of me as your hotel AI expert for today. It's really a pleasure to be here. We're about to unpack how technology is completely reshaping a really critical but often overlooked part of hotel management. And believe me, this isn't just about software, this is about your future career in this incredible industry. So let's jump right in.
All right, first things first. Before we can talk about the solution, we have to understand the problem. And it's a big one: the sheer complexity of hotel procurement. This is so much more than just buying sheets and coffee. It's a huge operational puzzle with some pretty serious hidden costs. And this quote really just hits the nail on the head. Imagine for a second, you're trying to manage this tangled web of suppliers, different contracts, fluctuating prices, all while making sure every single department has what it needs when it needs it. It is a truly Herculean task, a constant battle to keep costs down and efficiency up.
Now, a huge part of that inefficiency comes from something called maverick spending. Picture this: the kitchen, housekeeping, and the spa are all buying the exact same cleaning spray, but they're buying it from different suppliers, and get this, at different prices. It sounds small, but when you multiply that across hundreds of items, it adds up to a massive financial drain and a complete lack of control. And this is what that old way of doing things looked like. It was just this chaotic mess of phone calls, digging through giant paper catalogs, and an endless chain of emails back and forth. And what was the result? Well, it was almost always the same: disorganized, super inefficient, and basically a system that was built to overspend. It was obvious something had to change.
And that change, thankfully, is here. This is where we see this incredible shift, moving from that old-school chaos to a new level of control by injecting some serious intelligence right into the supply chain. So what's the solution? Well, it lies in these amazing AI-powered platforms. We're talking about systems like Bird Street, which basically bring your entire purchasing world into one smart digital hub. And this isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea for the future. This is happening right now. It's quickly becoming the new industry standard for any hotel that's serious about its bottom line.
So why does this matter so much for your career? Because it has a direct impact on a hotel's EBITDA. Now that might sound like just another business acronym, but it's probably the most important one you'll learn. Think of EBITDA as the vital sign for a hotel's financial health. It shows you how profitable the core business is. So by getting a handle on procurement, you're not just saving a few bucks, you are actively boosting the hotel's core profitability. And that right there is how you prove your value as a leader.
Okay, so we know what it does, but how does it actually work? How does this technology really take all that chaos we talked about and turn it into control? Let's pop the hood and take a look.
It's really a pretty elegant four-step process. First, it pulls everything together into one digital marketplace. No more phone calls and catalogs. Then, the system's AI gets to work, comparing prices from hundreds of suppliers in real time. Now here's where the magic really happens. It instantly flags any price that looks off or any charge that violates your contract. And finally, it doesn't just live in the present, it looks to the future, giving you predictive insights so your inventory is always just right.
Let's make this super concrete. Here's a real-world example. The AI is constantly scanning pricing data. Let's say it notices your hotel is paying 10% more for dairy than a sister property literally just down the road. Boom! It flags that immediately. Your manager gets an alert and now has the hard data they need to go back to that supplier and renegotiate. That's not theoretical savings. That's real money going straight back to the bottom line.
The AI is also a master at catching a really sneaky problem called price creep. This is when a supplier slowly starts to nudge their prices up, bit by bit, hoping you won't notice that it's more than what you agreed to in your contract. It's death by 1,000 cuts. But the AI checks every single invoice against the contract, stopping that financial leak before it can even start.
So just by catching overspending and enforcing contracts, the AI is already a huge win. But that's really just scratching the surface. Let's look at how all of this comes together to have a truly tangible impact on the hotel's overall financial performance.
And this is where that predictive inventory feature becomes so powerful. The system doesn't just know what you used last month. It looks at your bookings for next month. It sees that big wedding or that huge conference coming up, and based on all that data, it suggests the perfect amount to order. This is a game changer because it stops you from tying up precious cash in overstocked storerooms, and it saves you from those panicked and very expensive last-minute emergency runs when you run out of something critical.
What this all adds up to is a fundamental shift in strategy.
You're moving away from being reactive, constantly putting out fires, responding to shortages, making those emergency buys. Instead, you become proactive. Every single purchasing decision is backed by data. Your inventory levels are optimized. And your hotel's purchasing power is absolutely maximized. It's a completely different way of operating.
Which brings us to what I think is the most important takeaway for all of you. Understanding this stuff isn't just about learning a new tool. It's about gaining a serious strategic advantage for your career. It's about thinking like a modern hotelier. So if you remember one thing from our time together today, let it be this. AI transforms procurement from being just a back-office cost center, a place that just spends money, into a strategic, data-driven function that actively makes the hotel money. It's no longer about just buying stuff. It's about making smart investments that drive the hotel toward its biggest financial goals.
This really is the future of managing a successful hotel. So as you move forward in your studies and get ready to make your mark on this industry, I want to leave you with a question to think about. As a future leader, how are you going to use these amazing tools to turn data into your greatest asset? Thank you so much for your time.